This is Freya, and this is Ron. Last year, Freya and Ron made a lovely clutch of baby ball pythons. I kept 2 of them, and the other 4 went to keepers who are fantastic that I have kept in touch with. So we're going to do a 1-year clutch update of all those snakes. Welcome to the Green Room. I'm Bob Bledsoe. That's Kent behind the camera. You should do a 1-year keeper update after having snakes in their home for that long. Nobody's thinking about them. Are the people still alive? Yes, they are, Kent. Very much alive. Oh, okay. Freya here is a lovely example of a calico. She's also Orange Dream and Extreme Gene. And Ron is a fantastic example of a spot nose asphalt inchy. So we've got 6 genes at play here. They had 6 babies last year, and we're going to take a look at them. Let's just go in order of how I numbered them originally. Should I put you back since you're in shed, young lady? Number 1 is Dolly. She was the first to crawl out of an egg in the Green Room ever. So I was going to keep her regardless of what her genetics were, but she actually turned out pretty great genetically. She ended up with 4 out of the 6 genes. She is a spot nose calico extreme gene asphalt. Dolly was pretty tricky to get going. She refused 7 meals before I had to start assist feeding her. And I assist fed her 4 meals before she finally struck on her own. And now she's a pretty good eater. She still will refuse a meal occasionally, but it's pretty rare. I just looked at my records and saw that she has taken the last 10 meals in a row that I've offered her. So she's doing pretty good. One weird thing about her eating, put in the comments if you guys have any snakes that do this. She went through a phase where she wouldn't strike her meal, but I offer frozen thawed on tongs. She would go up past the rodent as though she was leaving, but what she was doing is she was wrapping it with her neck and pulling it off the tongs without striking it, and then she would eat it. So she did that for a while, for probably 5 or 6 meals, and then she started striking again. But now, if I find her reluctant to strike, I'll put the rodent against her neck, and she'll just do that. She'll slowly wrap it and pull it off the tongs, and then she'll take it that way. Such a weird little eating thing. So Dolly hatched out at 74 grams, and today she weighs in at 686. 686 grams. That's quite a bit of growth. I'm going to include some B-roll of these snakes right after they did their first shed and went into their first tubs. And just know that those tubs are probably marked inaccurately because I was just guessing on the genetics at that point. I think that's all I want to say about Dolly, but look at what a great calico expression, right? With the asphalt coming up, creating these flames. So cool. Number 2 snake is Marie. She's a spot nose calico orange dream, and I love this little snake. She crawled out of the egg at 70 grams and was always, without me having to really do anything, super social. I mean, snakes aren't really social, but you know what I mean. Just not afraid at all of crawling out onto my hand and exploring around outside of her little tub that she was first in. So she was with me for about 2.5 months, and then she went off to Lori in Florida. And I get updates on Marie quite often from Lori. She went through a period, sort of a phase with her neighbor Darwin, where both of them weren't eating very well. And Marie got over that pretty quickly, and she eats really well now because she is 732 grams at this point. So I'm not worried about that young lady wasting away anytime soon. Marie has continued to be really well adjusted, and Lori works with her a lot and has her out of her enclosure quite often and handling and stuff like that. And it seems like nothing has ever fazed that little snake. So glad to see she's doing well. You guys, I have a huge announcement to make as part of the 10,000 subscriber celebration. Do I have 10,000 subscribers yet? I know I'm close to it as of recording this video. I probably do. This is coming out in a few weeks. Obviously, I'm doing my Patreon scroll as I make this announcement. This has to do with merch that's now available to everyone. As you may know, the only merch that's been available has been as a Patreon perk, and it's this shirt. This is still only available as a Patreon perk. Check out you see how this is sort of this stamped on logo? I have two versions of the logo. One is clean and one's kind of stamped on. So this shirt has a front and back, and it's still only a Patreon perk, as well as these sticker packs. These are Patreon only perks. However, I've now opened a merch store, which has all kinds of merch. People have been asking for a merch store for quite some time, and I finally got around to putting it together. And it's available to everyone that wants to go and pick up merch. Let me show you. Look at this. There are all kinds of shirts like this, different colors. Like here, this red one looks kind of cool. The logo is always the clean logo for the merch store. Nothing with the stamped logo. Look at this hat. You get a hat like that. I think I'm going to drop the logo down a little bit, or at least make it bigger. Maybe I'll do that. I'll make it bigger. Also, look at this. Look at this mug. How cool is this, right? Same thing on this. I'm gonna make this logo bigger, I think. I just ordered a few things to test them out and see how it looks. They all look great. I'm gonna make these little few adjustments, but check out the store. There's a ton of different things in there. Take a look at it and tell me what you think. We're doing a video here. Let's get back to the video. Here we go. Snake number 3 is Soba, and he is another one that was always totally happy to crawl around and explore everywhere and crawl out onto your hand. And those of you who have watched the channel for a while might remember that Soba number 3 was named Tracy before. I was just calling him Tracy because he was numero trace. And I had him for about 5 months, and it was because I wasn't really trying to sell him. Like, I didn't really need him for my breeding program, but he was such a cool snake that I was like, maybe I'll just hang on to him. But then Jessica wanted him, and she asked me if I would start target training him, because at the time that she put the order in, it was freezing in Denver and couldn't ship snakes out for like over a month, I think. So I started target training him, which is a really great thing to do to engage a snake's brain rather than just tossing a rat in there occasionally. And he got, he didn't get target trained in the few weeks I was doing it, but he got experience seeing the target being paired with food. And then Jessica continued that, and now he does great with his target training, and he's a really intelligent snake that gets lots of enrichment and such. So he's doing very well. Jessica is out of town right now, so she hasn't weighed him at this point. I think what we'll do is I'm going to take a guess on his weight, and if she gets back to me before I upload this video, then I'll put it on the screen. I'm going to guess that Soba weighs as much as Dolly. I think he's 686 grams. Is that what Dolly is? Is that what Dolly weighs? 686? This is my Price is Right guess. 686, yeah. Yeah, I think he weighs as much as Dolly. Great to see that he's doing so well. Number 4 and number 5 both went to Trina in Mississippi. They are now Tallulah and Topanga, and those two little snakes are asphalts. And number 4, who I think is Tallulah, am I right? No, number 4 is Topanga. She's also Extreme Gene. So those two snakes are going to make some really cool freeway combos. So number 4 was the other one that I had a really hard time getting to eat. She refused a bunch of meals and then had to be assist fed like 5 or 6 times before she took a meal on her own. And Trina was so good about this because, I would give her updates and I'd be like, yeah, it's still, I had to assist feed again, and the snake still didn't strike. And she was always like, don't worry about it. Just, send those snakes whenever it works. Many customers would have been like, dude, where's my snake? I want my snake. So Trina was really nice about it. That snake I tried not to handle very much or interact with too much, just because I didn't want to put extra stress on when I was trying to assist feed it. But even with the few interactions that I had with that little snake, she still would crawl out of the tub onto my hand and such like that. And she's still a very well socialized snake. So that's really cool. All right. So she was 71 grams when she crawled out of the egg. She left 4 months later at 151 grams, and she's now 346 grams. And we're going to talk in a few minutes about slow growing your snakes, which I think is a really healthy thing to do, but we'll chat about it in a second. Number 5 is Topanga. Am I right? No, Tallulah. Number 5 is Tallulah. And she was a much better eater. She refused, I think, her first 3 meals, and then she just took everything that I would give her. So she did just fine. She was more reclusive, though, than any of the other snakes. But still, she would still come out occasionally, but she stayed in her hide most of the time, whereas the other snakes didn't hide as much. So this snake, I don't know if I even have B-roll of her coming out onto my hand, but she did do that occasionally. She just was in her hide more often. But apparently now she's just as social as the other one, and they come out, cruise around, and are totally socialized snakes. So let's look at the numbers on her. Tallulah crawled out of the egg at 80 grams. She left 4 months later at 217. So that's a big difference between those two. In 4 months, number 4 left at 151, and number 5 left at 217. And she's now 379. So these two snakes are getting a varied diet of African soft furs, weaned rats, and rat pups. So not only is she varying the sizes of the rodents, but she's also varying the rodents, because an African soft fur is a different rodent than a rat. And remember, your snake is not going to get hooked on one thing if you're just occasionally varying the diet. If you fed, like if you started feeding African sop furs 5-10 meals in a row, you might get a snake that won't take anything else. But if you're just varying it occasionally, that's a really healthy thing to do. And they're also getting smaller meals than the other snakes in the clutch are getting, which is probably a healthier way to go too. Slow growing your snake is, for probably any type of snake, is the best thing to do for their health. So that's really cool to see that. These little snakes are growing steadily, but slowly, which is cool. Next, we're going to talk about number 6 in the clutch, and we're going to find out who is bigger, Marie or Tiger Lily. But I know a lot of you are just sitting here waiting for Kent's Corner, so let's go take a look at that.
Hi, and welcome to Kent's Corner, the show that everybody's been waiting for. Today, I'd like to give you an update on myself. I was born 8 pounds, 7 ounces, and since then, I've taken every meal that's been put in front of me. I haven't weighed myself in years, but I've got to be somewhere around, like 400 or 500 pounds, probably? Pure muscle.
Kent, there's no way you're 500 pounds.
I said 400 or 500. Maybe I'm 400 pounds.
Well, you are way fatter than me, so I guess it's possible.
It's pure muscle. I said that. I wasn't even listening. Thank you for watching Kent's Corner, where weight is always accurately estimated. I could be 600 pounds. Muscle weighs more than fat, so...
Sorry, folks, let's not waste any more of your time. On to number 6, Tiger Lily. She took 24 hours longer to emerge from her egg, but at least I got it on camera when she did it. I believe Tiger Lily is a combo of all 6 genes. She is a spot nose, inchy, asphalt, calico, orange dream, extreme gene. And that's got to be a world's first, especially with asphalt and extreme gene in there. I can't imagine there's another snake in the world that is a combination of those 6 genes. Now, when you get all those genes in the mix, it's not that big of a deal to have a world's first. It's not like the world's first clown pied. But still, to have any kind of world first in your first clutch is kind of cool. And Tiger Lily is stunning. What a cool snake. So that was a 68-gram snake that you saw crawling out of the egg. And since then, she took every single meal that I offered her, including her very first meal, up until a few months ago when she voluntarily put herself on a every 2-week meal plan, which is perfect for a snake like this. She doesn't need to eat a small rat every single week, right? You're healthy. You're a big girl. Because of her pretty solid eating habits, she is a 739-gram snake. Is that right? 730? Yep, 739 grams. Only 7 grams heavier than Marie. So she is officially the biggest snake in the clutch, but she could poop and then Marie takes the... They're basically the same size. There's a little superdwarf appearance. Echo coming down the door behind me. Anyway, Tiger Lily is really... I mean, you guys see her a lot on my channel. She's very social and likes to explore around a lot. Same with Dolly. They're both about the same in that respect. Both Tiger Lily and Dolly are on small rats with the occasional jumbo mouse thrown in there. Here, you guys, I'll show you the superdwarves really quick. Stella's been in there the whole time. And then Echo is just up there on the ladder. Hi, Echo. There you go, little superdwarf show. I think it's so crazy how different these two snakes look. Tiger Lily has all the same genes that Dolly has, but with the addition of Orange Dream and Inchy. And they come out this different. So cool. I can't tell which one I like better as far as the look of. I think I'm too close to them and they're just stunning. So I can't decide. Put in the comments which look you think is better. Don't worry, I'm not going to feel bad that you like one over the other. But look how crazy they look. They're so cool. I did the same pairing this year of Ron and Freya, and the clutch that resulted in this year's pairing is hatching right now in the incubator as we speak. So I'll do a video soon about that clutch, and you can sort of see the difference between how last year's turned out versus this year's. And if you want to get caught up on the whole saga, you can take a look at last year's video that showcased this clutch when they first hatched. I want to thank Lori, Jessica, and Trina for their footage. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Why are you on my head? Is that your spot? That's where you want to be?